There's really nothing new under the sun, right? All the issues and the problems that we are going through, you might think no one understands, it's just me. I guarantee, right? Like someone knows about pain that is similar to what you're going through. Of course, maybe not the every little detail. There's others who can share with you.
And I actually think that therapy, not only is it a tool to help those heal, I can see it also working very powerfully in helping someone navigate their faith and ask the hard questions about their faith, and do that while having a very safe and non-judgmental space where they can be open about how they feel, about not being worried about how the church might view them, how their parents might view them. But our goal as therapists is to offer a safe space.
Don't wait, because you're missing out on days that you could enjoy greater connection and greater depth of understanding with each other.
And it makes sense that longer you wait, it might get more serious and you might need longer treatment. There's a reason why we call emotional health, mental health, and relationship health as health.
There's such a connection between our emotional health and spiritual health. And that's basically the premise of a very popular book called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality by Peter Scazzero. And the thesis of that book is basically, it is impossible to be spiritually healthy if you're also not emotionally healthy. And I think there is such a connection because God made us as humans with emotion. God has emotions as well. And I think, Eun-young, you mentioned before that a lot of clients come in wanting to learn how to get rid of these emotions of, I don't want to feel angry, I don't want to feel sad. How do I just get rid of it? But God made us this way, and there is a reason why we have these emotions. And I think more than trying to get rid of it, we're learning how to be honest with ourselves, like you shared, Ara. And when we learn how to be more honest with ourselves, we become emotionally healthy and therefore more spiritually healthy. And I actually think that therapy, not only is it a tool to help those heal, I can see it also working very powerfully in helping someone navigate their faith and ask the hard questions about their faith, and do that while having a very safe and non-judgmental space where they can be open about how they feel, about not being worried about how the church might view them, how their parents might view them. But our goal as therapists is to offer a safe space where you can share your true, deepest thoughts and feelings. And I think we would surprise ourselves when we realize how much we go throughout the day not fully being honest with how we feel. Because oftentimes it's like, I don't have time to think about this, or I don't have time to feel this way. But to have that space where we are honest not only with ourselves, but with God, that all opens up a deeper intimacy with God as well, where we can just be fully open with God and also feel the safety that He gives to us in how He loves and accepts us as His children.
You know, I know lately there has been a lot of TV programs, especially in Korea, about therapy or even couples, right? Like couples work or parenting related shows. It makes me think, like, I hope this doesn't create another barrier, because they usually only highlight cases where they come in to therapy as a last resort, right? We kind of talked about it earlier, but yeah, I've worked with couples who came to therapy when they first started noticing, like, oh, we should work on this area. And I've also worked with couples that came into therapy as their last resort. You know, much like I think health-related issues, prognosis can be very different, right? So I just would like to kind of add, you know, you don't have to be in dire situation as a couple to come into therapy. But if you could kind of, and I think the barrier, the mindset is, can they really help, right? Can this really help? And what can this actually do for us, But in my work, if I learned anything, I think I am so convinced of like there's really nothing new under the sun, right? All the issues and the problems that we are going through, you might think no one understands, it's just me, but I guarantee, right? Like someone knows about pain that is similar to what you're going through. Of course, maybe not the every little detail, but there's others who can share with you. And I think I would say if any couples are thinking about watching those shows and thinking, we're not that bad, we don't need therapy, but I want them to actually start thinking about, when would you go seek therapy for couples, right? I would say pay attention to your communication patterns. If you notice anything like persistent kind of negative patterns of communication, you pick up on a lot of criticisms or complaints or lots of defensiveness, or just shutting down and not talking to each other for days, or when you notice some emotional distancing between the two of you, or when you start noticing like the general quality of relationship or that attachment bond between the two of you isn't quite what it used to be, it's a good time to reach out and think about, right? Like outside of what you are already thinking about and gain a little bit more outside input. It could be very, very beneficial. And I would say, don't wait. Don't wait, because you're missing out on days that you could enjoy greater connection and greater depth of understanding with each other. And kind of alluding to what you were saying, Heidi, those sadness and anxiety and fear and all of those feelings that we want to get rid of, I think when we share those feelings, very vulnerable feelings, I think that's when the magic of connection really, really helps. That happens. It's that deeper level of connection, I think, really happens when we're able to go to those feelings and share with one another and let other people in on those feelings.
That reminds me, I think looking at emotional health and also relationship health as health issues can be really helpful, because I think we already kind of talked about it, like maintenance kind of a thing. When we notice that we're physically, unhealthy in some ways, or if we start to notice like physical symptoms, people immediately think about, oh, like I should see a doctor about this and ask what's going on. And it makes sense that longer you wait, it might get more serious and you might need longer treatment. So I wish that people can really understand that there's a reason why we call emotional health, mental health, and relationship health as health. So, yeah.
It's really wonderful to see even, couples, since we're on the topic of couples, couples who come when they're in crisis and working through that. It's really good to see that, but also couples who's like, premarital or something, they don't want to let other people be hurt, so they want to get themselves prepared so that they wouldn't, in the heat of the moment, they're not gonna say, like, hurtful things, so it's really like wonderful to see people come so that they could prepare to be ready for one another, even like some single people will come, like my future spouse, I want to be ready, so just kind of hearing that, they want to work through it because they want to prepare themselves to, be in good relationship, healthy relationship. Yeah.
I have another question that I would like to ask, but before we move on, is there anything that's kind of lingering in your mind that you wanted to say? Okay.
I did have a thought when you were sharing, Youngtan, about even like premarital counseling. These are couples who are coming in before marriage, before anything has even happened, but they're talking about potential issues or how they cope with things, and basically building that self-awareness to prepare for marriage. And just like individual work, I think going back to that one misconception of, oh, therapy is for those who have problems. I also have clients who come in genuinely, they are doing fine, but they're just curious. They want to know, yeah, what are my tendencies? Because all of us come from family history. We all come from our own coping methods. We all have our ways of dealing with emotions. And some clients, they come in just so that they can build that self-awareness of, I want to know why this triggers me, or why this particular event makes me upset, or why do I feel anxious in these situations? And then we help work through that together to find out, okay, these are the root issues, or this is where things are coming from. And then they leave with much stronger self-awareness. And as a result of that, better emotional health, and they're able to have healthier relationships because of that.
To those of you who are watching, maybe you've been thinking about therapy for a while, maybe for months or even years, we want you to know that you're not alone. Your feelings are valid, and it's really okay to seek help. It's a wonderful thing. It's a blessing to seek help. Therapy isn't about you being weak or something wrong with you or fixing you. It's really about allowing yourself to be human, to learn, to heal, to grow. We've included a list of mental health resources in the description below, so hopefully you can check them out. We also included our website, Defining Moments Counseling and Assessment Center. That's where all of us currently work together to provide services. If you've been carrying something heavy, maybe now is the time to take that first step. We see you, we support you, and we hope that this conversation is a small step toward healing for you, for your family, and for our community.